Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the bridge of the New Boston and watched the alien fleet gather like storm clouds in space. 200 ships hung in the dark between stars, each one bigger than her colony transport. Their hulls glowed with strange energy that made her eyes water when she looked too long. The Zephyrian flagship sat in the center like a metal mountain, its weapons already turning toward the small human settlement on Kepler 442b. Lisa pressed her hand against the cool metal of her command chair. 3 years she had been running supplies to the outer colonies, 3 years of peaceful trips through empty space. Now the Galactic Council had declared war on humanity, and she found herself the only thing standing between 12 alien species and 20,000 human civilians. Her communications officer turned from his station with worry written across his young face. Lieutenant Pete Johnson had been fresh out of the academy when he joined her crew. Now he looked like he had aged 10 years in the past hour. "Captain, the evacuation ships are asking for more time," Pete said. "The families with children need another 2 hours to reach the jump point." Lisa nodded and turned to look out at the alien armada. Admiral Koreth commanded that fleet from his massive warship. Intelligence reports said he had never lost a battle in 40 years of service to the Galactic Council. His ship alone carried enough firepower to crack a planet in half. "How long until they reach weapons range?" Lisa asked her tactical officer. Lieutenant Jake Martinez checked his displays and shook his head. 15 minutes at their current speed. "Captain, we have 3 escort frigates against their entire battle group. The Liberty, Constitution, and Independence are good ships, but they cannot stop that many enemies." Lisa knew Jake was right. Captain Tony Richards commanded the Liberty with skill and courage. Captain Amy Foster had turned the Constitution into one of the finest fighting ships in the human fleet. The Independence under Captain Bill Hayes had fought pirates and smugglers across the Outer Rim. But 3 frigates against 200 alien warships was not a battle anyone could win. The main screen flickered, and Admiral Koreth appeared. His blue skin gleamed under the bridge lights of his flagship. 6 eyes studied Lisa with the cold calculation of a predator sizing up prey. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "Human vessel New Boston, this is Admiral Koreth of the Combined Fleet. You will surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded. The Galactic Council has declared your species a threat to galactic peace. You will submit to our authority or face destruction." Lisa stepped forward and met those alien eyes without flinching. She had spent her whole life among the stars. Her father had been a merchant captain. Her grandfather had helped build the first human settlements beyond Earth. The blood of explorers and pioneers ran in her veins, and she would not bow to alien demands. "Admiral Koreth, this is Captain Lisa Morgan. We are conducting a lawful evacuation of human civilians. These people have done nothing wrong. They deserve safe passage to human space." Koreth leaned forward in his command throne. "Your species refused to surrender your artificial intelligence technology to galactic oversight. You defied the Council's authority. You have developed weapons and defenses that threaten the established order. Such defiance cannot be tolerated." Lisa felt anger build in her chest like a fire. The aliens wanted humanity's AI technology so they could control it. They wanted human innovation locked away where it could not challenge their power. For centuries, the 12 species had ruled the galaxy through superior technology and ancient treaties. Now humanity offered something new, and they were terrified of change. "We will not surrender our freedom to you or anyone else," Lisa said. "These civilians are under my protection." Admiral Koreth's 6 eyes narrowed. "Then you have chosen death. All ships advance to attack positions. Prepare to eliminate the human vessels." The transmission cut off, and Lisa turned to her bridge crew. Pete Johnson was already working to coordinate with the evacuation transports. Jake Martinez brought weapons and shields online while Chief Engineer Beth Collins pushed the engines to full power from her station in the engine room. Lisa opened a channel to the 3 escort frigates. "Liberty, Constitution, Independence, this is New Boston. Form up on my position and prepare for battle. We need to buy time for the civilians to escape." Captain Tony Richards responded first from the Liberty. "New Boston, we are moving to intercept position. Our weapons are ready." Captain Amy Foster's voice crackled through the static from the Constitution. "New Boston, we will hold the line as long as possible." The Independence under Captain Bill Hayes took position on the flank. "Standing by for orders, New Boston." Lisa watched the alien fleet spread into attack formation. Massive hegemony cruisers moved with deadly grace while smaller Zephyrian destroyers darted between them like hunting wolves. Energy weapons began to glow along their hulls as targeting systems locked onto the human ships. She opened a final encrypted channel on a frequency only human ships could access. Her voice was calm and steady despite the fear that clawed at her heart. Phoenix Protocol is active. All stations prepare for contact. The first alien plasma bolts streaked across space like falling stars. The battle for humanity's survival had begun, and Lisa Morgan would make them pay for every human life with alien blood. The first alien plasma bolt hit the Liberty like the fist of an angry god. Captain Tony Richards felt his ship buck and roll under the impact as energy shields flared white-hot around the hull. Damage reports flooded in from every section while his crew fought to keep their weapons online. "Hull breach on Deck 7, shouted his damage control officer. "Emergency bulkheads are sealed, but we lost the port missile launcher." Tony gripped his command chair as another volley of enemy fire hammered against their failing shields. Through the main screen, he could see the massive alien fleet advancing like a wall of death. Hundreds of weapon ports glowed with deadly energy, while targeting beams painted his ship from every direction. "Return fire," Tony ordered. "All weapons, continuous barrage." The Liberty's railguns spat streams of metal projectiles at the nearest hegemony cruiser. The alien ship's shields absorbed the impact like rain hitting a stone wall. Tony watched their most powerful weapons do nothing more than create pretty light shows against enemy defenses. On the Constitution, Captain Amy Foster watched her ship's main power flicker as alien energy weapons tore through their hull plating. Her chief engineer was screaming over the comm system about cascade failures in the reactor room. Emergency lights cast everything in hellish red as systems failed one after another. "Captain, we have lost main engines," her first officer reported. "Backup power is failing. We are dead in space." Amy looked out at the alien fleet and felt despair settle in her stomach like cold lead. The enemy ships moved with perfect coordination, their advanced technology making human weapons look like toys in the hands of children. A Zephyrian destroyer the size of a city block turned its attention to her crippled ship. "All hands brace for impact," Amy ordered. The alien weapon hit with the force of a nuclear explosion. The Constitution's hull split open like a broken egg, venting atmosphere and debris into space. Half her crew died in an instant, while the survivors fought desperately to reach escape pods. Captain Lisa Morgan watched her escort ships die around her as the New Boston shook under heavy fire. Her shields were down to 20% and climbing lower with each enemy hit. Jake Martinez worked frantically at his tactical station, trying to find some weakness in the alien formations. "Captain, their energy weapons are cutting through our armor like paper," Jake said. "Our kinetic shields are useless against their plasma technology." Lisa nodded grimly. Human ships had been designed to fight other humans, not alien species with technology thousands of years more advanced. The Galactic Council had shared just enough knowledge to let humanity build decent spaceships, but they had kept all the real military secrets to themselves. Chief Engineer Beth Collins reported from the engine room over the ship's internal comm. "Captain, I am pushing the reactor past safe limits, but we need more power for the shields. If I push any harder, we risk a core breach." "Do what you have to do, Beth," Lisa replied. "Those civilian transports need more time." Admiral Korath watched the battle from his command throne aboard the Zephyrian flagship. The humans fought with impressive courage, but their weapons were primitive and their shields pathetically weak. His science officer provided a running commentary on human casualties. "The human escort ship Constitution has been destroyed," the officer reported. "The Liberty is heavily damaged and will not survive another concentrated attack. The Independence is attempting to withdraw, but our destroyers are moving to intercept." Korath studied the tactical display with satisfaction. Humans had shown promise when they first contacted the galactic community 50 years ago. Their technology was crude but innovative. Their minds worked differently than other species, finding solutions that surprised even the eldest races. That creativity made them dangerous. "Focus fire on the New Boston," Korath ordered. "Once we eliminate their command ship, the remaining vessels will surrender." The combined firepower of 20 alien ships turned toward Lisa's colony transport. Energy beams and plasma bolts filled space around the New Boston as her crew fought desperately to keep their ship intact. The hull groaned under stress while internal systems exploded from power overloads. Lieutenant Pete Johnson worked to keep communications open with the evacuation transports. Families with children were still loading onto the last civilian ships while the battle raged around them. His hands shook as he coordinated with transport captains, knowing that every second of delay meant more human lives at risk. "Captain, the civilian ships are requesting immediate departure," Pete reported. "They cannot wait any longer." Lisa looked at the tactical display. The Independence was burning in space while escape pods scattered like seeds in the wind. The Liberty was down to emergency power and could barely return fire. Her own ship was taking damage faster than Beth Collins could repair it. "Tell the transports to jump to hyperspace," Lisa ordered. "We will buy them as much time as we can." The alien fleet pressed closer, their weapons tearing great chunks of metal from the human ships. Admiral Korath's flagship alone carried more firepower than the entire human escort force. Energy shields that had never been penetrated in centuries of galactic warfare shrugged off every human weapon like they were throwing pebbles at a mountain. Jake Martinez ran final calculations at his tactical station and shook his head in defeat. "Captain, our weapons are having no effect. Their shield technology is beyond anything we understand. We might as well be shooting at them with ancient muskets." Lisa nodded and opened a channel to the surviving human ships. Captain Tony Richards was barely keeping the Liberty's life support running. Captain Bill Hayes had managed to stabilize the Independence, but his weapons were offline and his engines were failing. "All ships, this is New Boston," Lisa said quietly. "We have done our duty. The civilians are safe. It has been an honor serving with you." The alien fleet moved in for the kill, their weapons charging for a final devastating volley. Admiral Korath prepared to accept the human surrender and begin the process of enslaving any survivors. The humans had fought bravely, but courage alone could not overcome technological superiority. Then something impossible appeared on every sensor screen in the battle zone. A massive energy signature materialized from empty space, larger than anything any of them had ever detected. Space itself seemed to ripple and bend as reality twisted around whatever was coming. Space tore open like fabric ripping apart. Reality bent and twisted as something enormous pushed through from hidden dimensions. Energy cascaded across the void in waves that made every sensor on every ship scream warnings. Then the impossible became real as a massive human warship materialized in the center of the battlefield. The UES Vengeance was a predator made of metal and fury. 5 kilometers of angular death hung in space like a dagger pointed at the heart of the alien fleet. Its hull was black as the void between stars, scarred by battles fought in secret wars. Weapon ports lined its surface like the eyes of some ancient beast, while energy fields crackled around massive gun turrets. Admiral Korath stared at his tactical display in shock. His 6 eyes widened as his science officer stammered readings that made no sense. The human ship's energy output exceeded his entire fleet combined. Its mass readings were off the scale. Its very presence seemed to bend space around it like a gravity well. "How is this possible?" Korath whispered. "Human technology is primitive. They barely have functional shield generators." His science officer checked and rechecked the readings with trembling hands. "Admiral, the energy signature is unlike anything in our databases. The ship appears to be using some form of exotic matter in its construction. The weapon systems alone generate more power than our largest battle stations." On the bridge of the New Boston, Captain Lisa Morgan felt her heart stop as the massive warship settled into position beside her damaged colony transport. The Vengeance made her ship look like a child's toy. Its hull stretched beyond her view screen, while weapon arrays the size of buildings tracked the alien fleet with mechanical precision. Lieutenant Pete Johnson worked frantically at his communications station as new signals flooded every human frequency. His hands shook as he tried to process what he was seeing. "Captain, I am receiving a transmission on command frequencies," Pete said. "The signature identifies the ship as UES Vengeance under the command of Admiral Kate Harrison." Lisa had never heard of Admiral Kate Harrison or the UES Vengeance. According to every database she knew, no human ship that large had ever been built. Earth's shipyards could not construct something of that size without every intelligence service in the galaxy knowing about it. The main screen flickered, and a woman appeared. Admiral Kate Harrison looked to be in her 50s with gray hair and hard eyes that had seen too many battles. Her uniform was standard human military, but bore insignia Lisa did not recognize. When she spoke, her voice carried absolute authority. "New Boston, this is Admiral Harrison of the UES Vengeance. We have been monitoring this engagement. Stand down and let us handle the situation." Lisa found her voice after a moment of stunned silence. "Admiral Harrison, this is Captain Morgan. I have never heard of your ship or your command. How did you get here?" Admiral Harrison smiled grimly. "That is a long story, Captain. The important thing is that you and your crew have done your duty protecting human civilians. Now it is time for these aliens to learn what happens when they threaten innocent people. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Admiral Harrison turned to her first officer. Commander Rick Parker was a veteran of campaigns fought in the dark spaces between stars. His uniform bore decorations from battles no official record mentioned. When he spoke, his voice was calm despite the massive alien fleet surrounding them. All weapon systems report ready, Admiral. The Mjolnir arrays are fully charged and targeting solutions are locked. Point defense grids are online. The aliens appear to be as shocked as our people. Admiral Harrison nodded and studied the tactical display. 200 alien ships surrounded her vessel, but she felt no concern. The Vengeance had been built for this moment. Every system had been designed specifically to counter alien technology. Every weapon had been tested against captured enemy equipment. This battle had been planned for decades. "Open a channel to the alien fleet," Harrison ordered. Admiral Korath's image appeared on the main screen. His blue skin had gone pale, and his 6 eyes darted nervously as he tried to understand what he was facing. When he spoke, his voice cracked with uncertainty. "Human vessel, I am Admiral Korath of the Combined Fleet. Identify yourself and explain your presence in this system." Admiral Harrison leaned back in her command chair and studied the alien commander. "I am Admiral Kate Harrison of the United Earth Space Force Deep Operations Division. You have attacked human civilians and threatened our people. I am here to ensure that does not happen again." Korath tried to regain his composure. "The Galactic Council has declared war on humanity. Your species refused to submit to galactic authority. We are here to enforce the will of the 12 ruling species. The 12 species rule by technology and fear," Harrison replied. "They have kept younger races weak and dependent for thousands of years. Today that ends." Korath leaned forward in his command throne. "You are one ship against my entire fleet. Surrender now and I may allow your crew to live as slaves." Admiral Harrison's expression did not change. "Admiral Korath, you have exactly 1 minute to order your fleet to withdraw. Any ship that fires on human vessels or civilians will be destroyed." Korath laughed, the sound carrying a hint of hysteria. "Your threats are meaningless. Human technology cannot match our weapons. Our shields have never been penetrated by primitive kinetic weapons." 50 seconds, Harrison said calmly. The alien admiral turned to his tactical officer. "All ships target the large human vessel. Concentrate all firepower on their central hull section. Show them the price of defying the Galactic Council." 30 seconds, Harrison announced. Captain Lisa Morgan watched from the New Boston as the alien fleet prepared to fire. Energy weapons charged while targeting beams painted the Vengeance from every direction. She opened a channel to Admiral Harrison. "Admiral, you need to get out of there. That much firepower will destroy any ship." Admiral Harrison turned to look at Lisa on the screen. Her expression was calm and confident. "Captain Morgan, humanity has been preparing for this day for 50 years. Watch and learn what your species is truly capable of." 10 seconds, Harrison announced to the alien fleet. Admiral Korath raised his hand to give the order to fire. His fleet would reduce the mysterious human ship to vapor and debris. Then they would finish destroying the remaining human vessels and begin the conquest of human space. "Time's up," Admiral Harrison said quietly. She turned to Commander Parker. "All weapons, full power. Show them what human engineering can accomplish when we put our minds to it." The Vengeance opened fire and space itself screamed. The main Mjolnir arrays discharged with power that made nearby stars dim. Projectiles accelerated to impossible speeds tore through the vacuum, like the wrath of ancient gods. Energy weapons that had taken 50 years to develop painted the darkness with beams of annihilation. Admiral Korath watched his flagship's shields simply vanish under the human assault. The energy barriers that had protected Zephyrian ships for 1,000 years collapsed like soap bubbles. Metal designed to withstand the heat of stars crumpled like paper, as human projectiles punched through hull after hull. "Impossible," Korath whispered as his tactical display showed ship after ship winking out of existence. "Our shields are impenetrable. Our hulls are made from materials harder than diamond." His science officer was screaming readings that made no sense. "Admiral, the human projectiles are moving at significant fractions of light speed. The kinetic energy alone is beyond our ability to absorb. Their energy weapons are operating on frequencies our shields were never designed to handle." The hegemony battlecruiser Destroyer of Worlds exploded in a ball of plasma that lit up half the battle zone. The massive ship had never been damaged in 2 centuries of warfare. Human weapons tore it apart in less than 10 seconds. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Commander Rick Parker coordinated the most one-sided battle in galactic history. His weapons control center hummed with activity as targeting computers tracked hundreds of alien vessels simultaneously. The crew worked with calm efficiency born from years of secret training. Mjolnir Array Alpha has eliminated 6 Zephyrian destroyers, reported Lieutenant Commander Steve Walsh from Weapons Control. Beta Array is engaging the Hegemony heavy cruisers. Point defense systems have intercepted all incoming missiles. Admiral Harrison watched the tactical display as her ship systematically dismantled the alien fleet. Each weapon had been designed to counter specific alien technologies. The targeting systems could track vessels moving at hyperlight speeds. The defensive grids could stop missile swarms that numbered in the thousands. Focus fire on their command ships, Harrison ordered. Take out their leadership and the rest will break formation. The alien fleet tried desperately to coordinate a response. Ships that had conquered worlds fired everything they had at the human vessel. Plasma beams that could melt continents struck the Vengeance's shields and simply disappeared. Particle accelerators that had cracked moons fired streams of exotic matter that the human defenses absorbed without effort. Captain Lisa Morgan watched from the New Boston in stunned amazement. The massive alien armada that had been destroying her ships minutes earlier was being torn apart by a single human vessel. Explosions bloomed across space as ship after ship fell to weapons she had never dreamed possible. "Pete, are you recording this?" Lisa asked her communications officer. Lieutenant Pete Johnson nodded numbly. "Yes, Captain, but I am not sure anyone will believe it. That human ship is destroying vessels that are supposed to be invincible. On the Independence, Captain Bill Hayes managed to get his sensors working long enough to analyze the human weapon signatures. What he saw made him question everything he thought he knew about human technology." "My God," Bill whispered. "Those projectiles are being accelerated by exotic matter containment fields. The energy output is beyond anything we have in our databases. How long have we had technology like this?" The alien fleet began to break apart as panic spread through their formations. Ships that had fought together for decades scattered in all directions as their commanders realized they were facing something completely beyond their experience. A Convergence dreadnought tried to ram the Vengeance in desperation. The massive alien ship was designed to break planetary defenses with its reinforced hull. Human point defense weapons turned it to vapor before it could get within 1,000 kilometers of their target. Admiral Korath felt his flagship shudder as human weapons found their mark again and again. His bridge crew worked frantically to coordinate damage control while emergency lights cast everything in hellish red. Half his ships were already destroyed and the rest were fleeing in terror. "All vessels retreat to hyperspace," Korath ordered. "Signal the Galactic Council. Tell them we have encountered a human fleet with technology superior to our own." His communications officer looked up from his station with fear in his alien eyes. "Admiral, they are jamming our hyperspace engines. No ship can jump to safety while those human weapons are active." Admiral Harrison opened a channel to the surviving alien vessels. Her image appeared on screens throughout the enemy fleet as their crew struggled with the reality of their defeat. "Attention alien fleet, this is Admiral Harrison. You came here to destroy human civilians and enslave our people. You assumed we were weak because we chose not to reveal our true capabilities. That assumption has cost you most of your ships and thousands of lives." She paused and looked directly at Admiral Korath. "I am going to allow some of you to survive and return to your masters. You will tell the Galactic Council that humanity is no longer hiding in the shadows. We have watched your species oppress younger races for millennia. We have studied your technologies and developed counters to all of them." The jamming fields around the alien ships suddenly disappeared. Several dozen surviving vessels immediately jumped to hyperspace, desperate to escape the slaughter. Admiral Korath's flagship was among the last to flee, its hull scarred and burning but still intact. Commander Rick Parker reported from the tactical station. "Admiral, we have eliminated 163 alien vessels. 47 survivors have jumped to hyperspace. No human casualties." Admiral Harrison nodded and turned to the main screen where Captain Lisa Morgan waited aboard the New Boston. "Captain Morgan, please prepare to come aboard the Vengeance. There are things you need to know about humanity's real position in this galaxy." Lisa looked out at the debris field that had been the most powerful alien fleet in known space. Twisted metal and cooling plasma drifted where mighty warships had ruled the void just minutes before. A single human vessel had accomplished what she would have thought impossible. "Admiral Harrison, how long has humanity possessed this technology?" Lisa asked. Admiral Harrison's expression was grim. We have been preparing for this war since the day we made first contact with alien species 50 years ago. The Galactic Council showed us their true nature from the beginning. They wanted to control us, to limit our development, to keep us weak and dependent. She gestured toward the tactical display showing the retreating alien ships, so we pretended to be exactly what they expected. Primitive, harmless, grateful for their guidance. All the while we were building weapons and ships in the dark spaces between stars, waiting for the day they would reveal their intentions. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. How many ships like the Vengeance do we have? Admiral Harrison smiled for the first time since the battle began. Enough, Captain Morgan. More than enough. Captain Lisa Morgan walked through the corridors of the Vengeance and felt like she was touring a ship from another century. The technology around her was beyond anything she had seen in human space. Energy conduits hummed with power that could level cities. Crew members moved with the confidence of veterans who had seen real war, not the border skirmishes she knew from the outer colonies. Admiral Kate Harrison met her in a conference room lined with star charts showing regions of space Lisa had never heard of. The walls displayed tactical information about alien fleet movements, technology assessments, and battle plans that stretched across decades of preparation. "Sit down, Captain," Admiral Harrison said. "There is much you need to understand about humanity's real situation." Lisa took a seat across from the Admiral and tried to process what she had witnessed. How long have ships like this existed? Why was I never told about the Deep Operations Division? Admiral Harrison activated a holographic display showing the development of human space over the past 50 years. Hidden shipyards appeared in asteroid fields and empty star systems. Construction facilities built into the cores of dead planets. A shadow fleet that had been growing in secret while the rest of humanity believed they were alone and vulnerable. We began this project the day Ambassador Chen returned from first contact with the Zephyrian Empire, Harrison explained. The aliens were polite and helpful on the surface, but our intelligence teams quickly identified their true intentions. They wanted our artificial intelligence technology, our quantum computing advances, our medical breakthroughs. They had no intention of treating us as equals. The display showed intercepted communications between alien species discussing the human problem and how to best exploit Earth's innovations while keeping the species under control. So we made a decision, Harrison continued. We would give them exactly what they expected to see. A primitive species grateful for their guidance and protection. Meanwhile, we began the most ambitious military project in human history. Lisa stared at the images of massive construction projects hidden in the outer dark. How many people knew about this? Less than 10,000 across all of human space, Harrison replied. We recruited the best minds from every field. Engineers, scientists, military officers, intelligence operatives. People who could see the bigger picture and work toward a goal that might take decades to achieve. The hologram showed weapon testing in remote star systems. Human scientists working with captured alien technology to develop countermeasures. The slow, patient process of building a fleet that could challenge species with thousands of years of technological advancement. We studied every alien weapon, every defensive system, every tactical doctrine, Harrison said. We learned their weaknesses and built weapons specifically designed to exploit them. The Mjolnir arrays fire projectiles that can penetrate any known shield technology. Our energy weapons operate on frequencies their defenses were never designed to handle. Lisa thought about the battle she had just witnessed. The ease with which the Vengeance had destroyed ships that were supposed to be invincible. The evacuation of Kepler 442b, was that planned? Admiral Harrison nodded grimly. Partly. We knew the Galactic Council would eventually demand our submission. We had agents monitoring their communications for months. When we learned they were planning to make an example of one of our outer colonies, we made sure you were there with civilian transports that needed protection. So those families, the children, Lisa began, were in real danger, Harrison assured her. We would never risk innocent lives for a military operation. But we knew the aliens would send a fleet large enough to guarantee victory. We wanted them to reveal their true intentions in front of witnesses. The display changed to show real-time communications flooding through galactic networks. News of the battle was spreading across known space as surviving alien crews reached their home systems. The implications were staggering. Every species in the galaxy is learning that humanity is no longer a primitive client state, Harrison explained. The Zephyrian Empire has lost most of its primary battle fleet. The Hegemony Council is in emergency session. The Convergence Collective is recalling ships from frontier territories. Lisa watched intelligence reports flow across the screen. Alien governments were frantically trying to understand how humanity had developed such advanced technology in secret. Trade agreements were being reviewed. Military alliances were shifting as species reconsidered their positions. What happens now? Lisa asked. Admiral Harrison stood and walked to a viewport showing the debris field where the alien fleet had died. Now we reveal ourselves to the galaxy as we truly are. Not a species to be conquered or controlled, but the newest major power in known space. She activated her command console and opened channels to communication networks across human territory. Her image would be broadcast to every human settlement, every ship, every outpost in the colonies. Citizens of humanity, Harrison began. Today marks the end of our isolation and the beginning of a new era. For 50 years we have allowed alien species to believe we were weak and dependent on their guidance. We did this not from fear, but from wisdom. We used that time to study our potential enemies and prepare for the war they would inevitably bring to our worlds. The broadcast showed footage from the battle as alien ships exploded under human weapons. The massive vengeance moving through enemy formations like a force of nature. The complete technological superiority humanity had achieved through decades of secret preparation. The Galactic Council believed they could enslave us or destroy us at will, Harrison continued. They were wrong. We are not the primitive species they imagined. We are humanity and we bow to no alien master. She turned toward the camera with steel in her voice. To the species of the galaxy who hear this message, we offer you a choice. We seek peace with those who treat us as equals. We desire trade and cooperation with civilizations that respect our sovereignty. But to those who would threaten our people or our freedom, know that we are prepared for war. The broadcast ended and Harrison turned back to Lisa. Captain Morgan, I am offering you a position in the Deep Operations Division. Your actions today prove that you understand what it means to protect human lives. We need officers like you for what comes next. Lisa looked out at the stars and thought about the galaxy that was changing around them. Ancient powers were falling while humanity rose to take their place among the dominant species. It would be a dangerous time, but also full of possibilities. What about my crew? Lisa asked. Pete Johnson, Jake Martinez, Beth Collins. They fought beside me today. Admiral Harrison smiled. They will be given the same choice. The Deep Operations Division always has room for capable people who understand what they are fighting for. Lisa stood and extended her hand to the Admiral. Then I accept. When do we begin? Admiral Harrison shook her hand firmly. We already have. The galaxy knows we exist now. Every alien species is trying to decide whether to approach us as friends or enemies. Our next mission is to make sure they choose wisely. Outside the viewport, more human ships began to decloak. The shadow fleet that had been hidden for 50 years emerged from the darkness to take their place in the light. Humanity had revealed itself to the galaxy and nothing would ever be the same. The age of hiding was over. The age of human ascendancy had begun.